I'm going to go ahead and start the call since it is 2 after. So thank you guys for joining the call tonight. If you don't know who I am, my name is Angela Sasaki, and I've been coaching for about a year and a half now. It's been an amazing experience, and I'm super excited to do this call for you guys, collaborating with all my fellow diamonds to bring you guys some awesome content, because I think it's really great for all of us, even us diamonds included, to hear from lots of other coaches versus just one, so you can get perspective from all of us. So I'm really excited to share some content with you guys tonight. So let me share my screen with you, and we will go ahead and get started. Em, are you already recording? Just want to make sure she's recording. 1 second, guys.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. I just couldn't see it on my end. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And okay. So tonight, we're going to be talking about, how to rock your social media. So I think this is a really important topic, because part of being a Beachbody coach is sharing our story. And I think a lot of us struggle with that. And it's a very common thing to struggle with. So I just kind of wanted to share some tips and tricks and examples with you guys, what's worked for me over the past year and a half. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is very basic, but I don't know if there's any new coaches on the call. If you're newer, I would start with this, or even if you have been coaching for 6 months or so and your profile doesn't look, similar to these types of things, then I would start with this, because it's really important to use your Facebook as a storefront. If you are a Beachbody coach, your Facebook is now your storefront. So you have to think of it that way. So I use my page as an example. So it's really important to make sure that you have, a clear photo of you on your Facebook page. So, if you have a picture of like your cat or your dog or like you and 9 friends, like that's really cool. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's really important for people to be able to see you and get a taste of your personality. So if you don't have a clear photo of you in your profile photo, I would definitely do that ASAP. And then the second thing would be to, have a really cool cover photo. And this really didn't take me long to make. Like, I know a lot of coaches get them made by professionals. I made mine myself. There's no need to go out and pay a bunch of money to get a Facebook cover made. In my opinion, you can use PicMonkey, or you can use Canva. I listed the websites that I use down below. If you're a beginner, you could use canva.com. It's a little bit easier than PicMonkey. But PicMonkey has a lot more features. I think I used PicMonkey for this one, but the one that I did before, I had used Canva, and it worked just fine. So just to show people that you have a storefront, you have something to offer, you're giving them a taste of your personality as soon as they click on your Facebook, because nowadays we all have such a really, really short attention span. So it's really important to kind of draw that attention to your page like right off the bat when they click on your page. So that's something I would start with, but let's get into like the meat of the call now. Okay, so branding yourself sets you apart from the crowd. And when I say branding yourself, I think a lot of coaches, including myself, can overthink this. I hear a lot of people say, I don't know how to brand myself. I don't know what my brand is. And it's really very simple. It's just something we all overthink. Your brand is you, because there's nobody like you. Your brand is your face. People want to, see you and what the products have done for you. So, and I think that's where there's kind of a disconnect sometimes. People want to see you using the product and how it's changed your life, and that is what's really going to inspire them to join you. For example, in the Shakeology post below, I put a little fun text that said chocolate milkshake, and I kind of talked about the benefits that Shakeology has for me. I talked about my digestive issues and how I have IBS and how it helps me with that, and that's going to resonate with somebody who also has digestive issues, and they're going to think, oh, hey, that's cool, that works for her, maybe it'll work for me. And that's what's going to get people to join you on your journey versus just sharing a product. I see a lot of coaches do good posts, but maybe they have like a photo of them holding the Shakeology, but they're not in the photo, and they don't say why they're drinking the Shakeology. So talk about why you're using a program, share your results, and share why it excites you, and share your personality. Another thing is, sharing your story, your transformation. You guys can see that I have a pretty big physical transformation. I've lost 70 pounds on my journey, and I share that on my Facebook every single week. And I will say before I didn't share it every single week because I was afraid that people were going to get annoyed, like, oh, that's repetitive. And people are going to be like, okay, we get it. Like you're, happy and healthy now. But the truth is that people really don't care if you're being repetitive. People are more than likely inspired that you have the guts to post something like that. And if you're adding new people to your network every day, those posts really aren't for all those people that have already seen your post. Because if you have 10 new friends this week than you did last week, then the people from last week didn't see that post. And you're sharing that story with those new people that are in your network. And you should be constantly adding new people into your network. And I just want to say too that you don't have to have a physical transformation to share a transformation, because a lot of people say, well, I don't have a physical transformation yet, or I don't have a physical transformation. So I don't know how to share one. But if you're a coach and you've been coaching for a while, or you love coaching, there's something about this business that has changed you in some way, or done something positive for your life. Maybe you were like kind of a naturally negative person, and doing personal development over the past 3 months has really changed your outlook on life and your perspective and the way you think of things. That's a transformation. That's a mental transformation, and that's important. It may seem small to you, but it's big to somebody from the outside looking in who doesn't have that transformation and wants it. So we're going to talk about on the call, like different ways to like share your brand and show who you are and really uniquely share your story. Because there's so many Beachbody coaches, and even though we're not in competition, it's important to be unique and learn how to stand out from the crowd if you want to be successful in the business. So make sure your photos are clear and fun. This is, a simple thing, like you think, duh, but it's really important, and has made a really big difference in my business since I've really started paying more attention to having better quality photos. And I take my photos on my iPhone, so you don't need to have like a like a Nikon or anything. I take them on my iPhone, but I just try and make sure I'm in good lighting. I try and make them fun. Sometimes I add fun print to them. And some apps that I use, if you guys have trouble with getting clear photos, is I do use Facetune sometimes. Like if I feel like the lighting's bad or the quality's not as great, it helps it look a little bit more clear than it actually is. And then I use WordSwag. If you don't have WordSwag, that is the best app in my opinion for adding text to your photos. Since I've started coaching, I've used tons of different apps for text, and WordSwag is by far my favorite, and it's really cheap. I think it's like $1.99 or 99 cents, and they have a lot of different things you can use to make your photos really fun and stand out. And the reason it's really important to have, like clear, concise photos that's going to catch the eye is because, as coaches, we're sharing our story. So we post longer posts than the average person. And there's nothing wrong with that because we're sharing our story, but the text isn't what's going to stop a scroll. Sometimes it can if you have a really, eye-widening, first sentence. But what really stops people's scrolls in my experience is the photos. So it's important to, be fun and have good lighting and all that stuff. And another way you can get attention on your post is to draw, make your post more fun and get people to engage more is to ask questions at the end of your post. Like for example, on the top left-hand side, I had posted, I was really excited. I had tried, I think they're called the Lenny and Larry cookies, because I talked about how, all the benefits of them for you and how much I loved them and what they did for me. And then I asked at the end of the post, if anybody else had tried them and, what their favorites were. And I had so many people commenting and writing back and forth. And it just creates a lot of engagement on your post and brings more people to your page. So that's something you can do too. And another way you can add value to your page, this is part of your branding. For me, like I like makeup. I'm not a makeup artist, but I love doing makeup. And even though it has nothing to do with Beachbody, it's showing people a little bit of my personality. And that's how I'm going to attract my tribe to, sorry, I got tongue-tied. That's how I'm going to attract people that mesh with me to my tribe. There we go. And I did a deer tutorial on Halloween night. I wasn't even planning on doing it. I just kind of tried it out and watched it on YouTube, and I posted about it. And that shows a little more insight into my personality. So, when it comes to branding, think of things that you enjoy doing, even outside of Beachbody. Do you like doing hair? Do you like doing makeup? Do you like knitting? What is it that you like doing? And, I went live once and showed people that, how I curl my hair, because people always ask me how I curl my hair. So if you enjoy that type of stuff or whatever you enjoy, post about that stuff too. Don't be afraid to show people your personality and things that you enjoy outside of Beachbody as well. Another thing that I think is really important is to be real and share your ups and downs. I'm not saying to air all your dirty laundry on Facebook or to have a pity party on Facebook. I think it's important to share your struggles, but to also find a way to make them, turn it into something positive. Because a lot of times I think that, we're always happy and posting all these great things on Facebook. And when people are just seeing our highlight reel, they fail to remember that we are human too, and that we have struggles too, and we have doubts, and we fall off track sometimes. So it's important to show that when we're going through that, because it shows people that we're there, that we are relatable. Like at the bottom, I posted an accountability post because I needed some accountability that week. Sorry, there's a helicopter flying over. I needed some accountability that week, and I posted that I was posting that post for accountability because I was struggling to get my workouts in. So that shows people that, we're relatable, and that, if we can do it, they can do it too. Because I, think a lot of time people think that they can't coach, or they think they can't start a workout program because, they'll tell me I'm not as committed as you, I don't have self-control, or I'm not that disciplined. But the truth is that I'm human, and I fall off track all the time too. It's the difference between me and someone else is that I just keep getting back up and moving forward. And if they can see that, that's going to make them see it, in a whole different light, if they can relate to you, because they can resonate with what you're going through. Okay, commit to a program and shake. I mean, obviously this is a vital behavior, but this is important because a lot of times, I'll have coaches tell me I've been inviting a lot, nobody wants to be a part of my groups, and that's usually because they're not sharing their journey. So, if you're not sharing what you're doing, no one's gonna know, and you can't really expect them to join you if you aren't practicing what you preach. And this is the way, I like to explain it. Those stands when you walk through the mall, those stands that try and stop you to sell you stuff, and you're trying to like power walk past them before they see you. I always get people that stop me and want to straighten my hair because my hair is curly. So if I went up to this girl and she told me all about this product and it was $140, say it was $140, like the basic challenge pack, and she had all these great things to say about it. She had me convinced, and then I asked her if she'd ever used it, and she said no. Do you think I would trust in her? Do you think I would invest in that product if she had never actually used it? I don't think so. So that's why it's important to be a product of the product and, share your journey, even if it's just something small. Maybe you lost like 2 pounds, or maybe you didn't lose any weight. Maybe your journey's not physical. Maybe it's just about, maybe your workouts help lower your anxiety and your stress. I know they do for me, so share how your workouts are making you feel and share your progress. Show people that you are being consistent. Start a program from start to finish. And if you're being consistent, that's what's going to make people want to hop on board with you and be consistent with you, because they want that, but they don't know how to maintain that consistency, and they're going to see you as a mentor. Okay, combating objections publicly. Combating objections publicly is really important, and I'll be the first to admit that I don't do it enough, and it's something I need to work on. And from experience, I can tell when I'm combating objections, I can't talk today, sorry. When I'm combating objections publicly versus not doing it, I can tell the difference between the way my conversations are flowing. And that's because if you're getting a bunch of objections about, not having enough time, or, wanting to wait till you're a coach, or wanting to wait till you're fit to be a coach, if you're combating that publicly, your private conversations are going to flow, already being answered on your social media. Of course, you're still going to get objections, but I found that, overall, when you combat objections publicly, your conversations are going to flow much better. So I try and ask myself, if I'm getting a lot of objections lately, I try and ask myself, what objection is it that I'm getting the most? And I feel like the biggest objection I always get is time. So I post about that a lot. A lot of people say, well, I work a full-time job, I don't have time. Well, I worked a full-time job too when I started coaching. I worked a full-time corporate job. I worked 8 to 5, and I didn't get home till like 8 o'clock at night because I had issues with my knees and I was at the chiropractor. So I had a super busy schedule. So I talk about that. I talked about how I made it work for me. I talk about the fact that we have a power hour where you can get everything done until you can spread that out over time. I talk about, in the lower hand side, how it's amazing that, I can lay in bed next to my boyfriend and run my business off my laptop, or even in the car off my iPhone, because my business is mobile. So it's important to share that with people, because people don't know that. So when people see that, this business, it does take hard work, but it's not as time consuming as people think it is. And once you paint that picture for them, they're going to see it in a whole different light. So That's why battling objections publicly is so important, because I think a lot of time we get an objection and we take it as a no. It's really not a no. It's just their lack of understanding a solution. And it's our job as a coach to provide that solution for them, both publicly and through those private conversations. Talk about coaching daily and how it's changed your life. This is something that has changed my business significantly since I've started doing this over these past couple of months. And it's the same thing as being afraid of, posting your transformation every week. I was really afraid to talk about coaching every single day because I was afraid people were going to be like, okay, like we get it. Like you're a coach and you're happy and your life is great. But, posting about coaching once a day is so important, because what is it? I think there's only maybe 5% of your Facebook friends see your post on the daily, or it might even be less. I'm not sure. So we have this idea in our head that, people are going to get annoyed with me. But, if you post about coaching one day and, you have 2,000 friends and 5% of your friends are seeing that, not that many of your friends that you think are seeing it. So that's why it's so important to be consistent and post about coaching every single day. It doesn't have to be every single post. You don't have to, overload that, but at least once a day. And, you can talk about anything that you love about coaching. What has it done for you? For example, I talk about, I showed my office for the day. I had the freedom to be able to go work in a coffee shop and have a healthy salad on whatever that day that was in the middle of the week. I talked about the fact that it gave me freedom to try new things. I was so excited that I was able to take a bar class at 8 o'clock on a Friday morning, which I never would have been able to do before when I was working a full-time job. I talked about the fact that, it's provided me with a community of amazing women like you guys who keep me motivated and give me support when I need it, when I'm feeling down, or any time of the day or week. So it's important to talk about that type of stuff. And now one thing I do want to say is that I will have coaches say, well, I'm a new coach, I have a full-time job, so I can't post stuff like that. Well, maybe you can't post that, this is my office for the day, but you can post other things that coaching has done for you. Because when I was first started coaching and I was working a full-time job, I talked about other things. I talk about the fact that, coaching gave me accountability. It made me more accountable to myself, that it wasn't just about helping others, but also helping myself and the community. You can still use having a community. I talked about the fact that, it gave me gas money. That's huge for somebody that's struggling to pay month to month, who could use an extra $50 a month or use an extra $200 a month. So, maybe coaching changed your attitude because you added personal development into your life. There's so many amazing things you can post about coaching, even if you have a full-time job. You just have to be creative. And a lot of things I talked about when I was coaching too, is I talked about why I was doing it. So I told people my goals. I told people I'm coaching because I want to travel more. I'm coaching because I want to quit my job one day. And people who have been following my journey since the beginning have seen that consistency. They've seen me make that dream a reality. So it's so important to lay that out and show people why you're doing it and why you're passionate about it, so that people who have those same hopes and dreams, will resonate with you and feel like, okay, well, if she did it, maybe I can do it. So it's really giving people a sneak peek into coaching on your Facebook page is what you're trying to do. And then let people know that you have something to offer. So, we post about coaching and challenge groups and Shakeology and our workouts all the time because we're coaches and that's all we do. We hang out in our yoga pants and we work out, we drink our shakes, we talk to people, we run groups, and it's amazing. But it's important to do call to action posts too, where you actually let people know that you have something to offer. So, I try and do these posts every my challenge invites to my challenge groups once a week or at least every 2 weeks. It's important to do it every so often and to let people know that you have something to offer. Like, for example, the one at the top was an invite to one of my challenge groups over the holidays. It doesn't have to be super extravagant, a cutout of you or anything like that. Most of mine are just random selfies of me and my workout gear. So it doesn't have to be fancy or anything. But I always talk about my groups and what they are. And I try and not use Beachbody lingo. Like challenge groups, because people don't really know what challenge groups are. Instead, I say online fitness accountability group, because people are more likely to understand, I think, what that means just by reading it versus a challenge group. A lot of times people are like, well, what is that? So I try and not use Beachbody lingo and really try and lay it out in there. And then I say, like this post or comment below for details. And then for the coaching post, I think it's really, really important to do call to action posts for coaching. and you don't have to do them like every day for that. I try and do those like once a week. And I think it's best, in my opinion, that in my experience, doing call to action posts about coaching on Sundays, on Sunday nights between like 5 and 7, because I feel like that's when everybody's getting ready for the work week, getting ready to go back to reality and dreading going back to work. So I usually do it on that time, and I have really good turnout and good response when I do it then. But and I will say something at the end, not like super blunt, but I tell a little bit of my story and what it's done for my life. And then I just say something like, if you can resonate with this at all, I would love to chat with you, reach out to me, or, fill out my application at the bottom. If you guys don't have applications, you could make some. They're really simple. If you use woofu.com, I would definitely recommend it. But definitely do call to action posts, because they're really important. It's really important to not only show people that you coach and that you love what you do, but that you do have something to offer and that they can be a part of it with you. And then obviously be consistent. Are you posting 3 to 5 times every single day? And it's also important to you to post consistently, and also invite privately, because they really do go hand in hand. And I will be the first to admit that I have been one of those coaches who posts all the time but doesn't really invite, or invites like crazy behind the scene and isn't posting very much. And it just doesn't work, because if you're posting all the time and not inviting, still, how are people going to know you have something to offer if you don't reach out to them and let them know? And then at the same time, if you're inviting, 50 people a day, I've had coaches tell me I've been inviting 50 people a day, nobody's interested. And I go to their page and they're not posting. So the way I like to explain that, that would be like if somebody put an ad in the paper that a new store was opening and you were super excited and you went to the location and there was no store there, or it was closed, and you would be very, very confused, and you would probably just leave, and that would be the end of it. So it's kind of the same thing. If you're inviting someone to a challenge group or to coaching, they don't really know what it is, and their first reaction is probably going to be to go check out your Facebook. So if they go to your Facebook and there's absolutely no evidence of what you do, coaching, challenge groups, or anything, they're probably not going to think you're legit or know what you're talking about. And that's usually when people ghost on you or say no, because they don't know what you have to offer. So it's important to share that on your social media and through private messaging. If you're doing those together consistently, then your business will definitely grow. Okay, so this is something that I like to do if I ever feel like I feel like my business is stagnant, or I'm having trouble reaching Success Club, or I just feel like it's not flowing good. I'll do like a self-audit, and I ask myself these questions. Or, if you feel like you're too hard on yourself sometimes, or maybe even too easy on yourself, let's face it, we all are sometimes, ask your success partner to do an audit for you. You can do it for each other and kind of have it as like a thing that you guys do for each other weekly or something like that, to keep each other on task. Or ask a fellow coach if you don't have a success partner. But I always ask myself, with one scroll, can people see that I'm a coach? And with one scroll, can people see me? Can they see my face? Do they have an idea of who I am and my personality with that scroll? And with one scroll, can people see that I have something to join? So it's just really important, because, people are going to scroll a little bit, and if they can't really tell anything within the first 3, posts, they're going to leave your page, unfortunately, because we have such a short attention span. So that's why when, it's so important to post about coaching or challenge groups and stuff like that, because if you posted about coaching 2 weeks ago, that person's not going to scroll down, 2 weeks back to find out what it is that you're talking about. So that's why it's so important. So if you feel like your business is off, or you're feeling stagnant, do this self-audit regularly until you feel like, you can answer yes to all of these questions. And I promise you that things will change in your business. I think that was my last slide. Yeah, that was my last slide. Let me stop sharing my screen, and then I'll leave it open for questions. I hope you guys found that helpful. I was a little nervous, so I apologize if I speed talked, because I have a tendency to tend to do that. But yeah, I'll leave it open for questions if you guys want to post them below. Or if you want to unmute yourselves, you're more than welcome to. Let me read the comments. Oh, thanks, guys. I'm glad you guys found it helpful. Okay. Thank you guys for all the love. I love you guys. I'm so excited to be on this call with you guys. Thanks, Em. All right. Well, thanks, guys. All right, well, if nobody has any questions, I'll go ahead and let you guys get back to your night. I love you guys. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions, you can message your coach, or you can even message me. I'm always happy to help. And I will post these slides in our page so that your coaches can share them with all of you guys, so you guys can use them for notes or whatever you guys want. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great night, and I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.